Hi, everybody. All right, look, Peanut's with me. It's almost dinner time. So he's really checking me out right now. I'm sure he may have something to say about this sometime during this video. I hope not. So today's video, I am talking about 5 of the more extraordinary experiences that I've had as far as, well, mystical experiences, seeing things, seeing beings, seeing ghosts, which has definitely happened throughout my life. But yeah, pretty much throughout my life. I think it really started around the age of 21 when I started seeing things. Now, I had experiences before that, astral projection, coming in and out of my body, past life memories coming through, which did not work with growing up Mormon in Utah. So, at some point I knew that I would have to find my own way and figure out what's going on here in the world. The first experience that I wanted to share is, so I'm making this, I've made separate little videos about these things or put them in other videos, but I'm putting them all in one video, the more extraordinary experiences that I've had. So when I was about 21, I was dating this guy, and I worked at a bar, a private club in Utah, because that was the only place you could really get drinks in Utah besides beer or wine, was at a private club. So in Utah, they made you buy a membership to go into a bar type of place and get cocktails. So I worked at this place for a bit. I met a lot of guys. I was in a dance group. It was really fun, very not Mormon. And I was being adventurous, trying to figure out who I was, what's going on in life outside of the Mormon church, but in Utah, which is almost impossible to be outside of the Mormon church because that influence is just there. It's everywhere. So I was dating this guy named Larry. We were partying one night, spent the night at his house, had tons of fun. In the morning, when I woke up, there was this being standing in front of the bed, like at the very end of the bed in front of it. He looked like Father Time. Is the closest I could explain it. He had long white hair. He had a long beard. He looked like an older guy. He was all white except for his eyes, blue eyes. And he was standing there. He had white robes on, and he was all light and all white. He was just staring at me. So I literally was sitting up in bed, looking at him, looking at just almost like just studying him. I was looking at his clothing, his hair, his skin. I could see it so clearly. I could see him so clearly that I could see the light, that the woven light of his robes. I mean, it was that clear that I could see that detail of him standing there. Now, there might have been something that happened before my memory of seeing him, and I just can't remember. That's very, very possible. But at some point, I thought to myself, I'm just staring at him, taking it in. And I'm not feeling anything extraordinary. I'm not, I'm just seeing this being, and it's a man. And I decide, oh, I'm going to lay back down. Very simple thought. I'm sure that somebody projected that, and he projected that into my head. Time to lay back down, Lorina. I lay down, and as soon as my head hit the pillow, I went, oh my God. My rational brain turned on. I went, oh my God, what was that? What did I just see? And I sat straight up out of bed, and he was gone, of course. Still don't know exactly who he is. I thought maybe for a while it was the Ascended Master Melchizedek, because they say he looks kind of like Father Time. He could be my higher self. He could have been an angel. I have not seen him come in that clearly, but I do have a lot of direct experiences with somebody like helping save my life, or being directed in a particular way that is a masculine voice. I think it's him. So he's definitely one of my guides. He could be what they call in some systems the holy guardian, my holy guardian angel, and apparently we all have one. And anyway, some sort of guide. He was there. Totally freaked the guy out. I told him about it and totally freaked him out. All right, after that, around the same time period, because it was around the time period when I think I was just a little bit older. Same time period my sister Jana died, and I did have some experiences around that. Anyway, so when I was really, really sick, oh yeah, I was 22. Yeah, so it was then, not too much later from this other story. I was sick. I was really sick because it happened. I was sick during my birthday. Actually, I remember I turned 22. Not much going on then. I was sick in bed, and I was really sick. And this was during the day. I had been in bed for a couple days and didn't do anything. Didn't get up, hardly got up to go to the bathroom even, or eat anything. And nobody paid attention because my family, I had a weird family. No one paid attention to anything. Anyway, so I'm sitting up in bed. I think I'm feeling a little better because I'm sitting up in bed. And while I'm sitting there, I see this level open up, like literally from the right side. I see this this level, this open up, and it's a long, elongated line. This level opens up, and I see all these people. I'm looking in the distance of this level, and there are lots of people off in the distance. Some are closer, a lot of them are further away, and all different types of people, all different, like from different time periods, just groups of people here, there, scattered. And at some point, there is a couple that walk out from this level, and they are in front of me. Now they look like they're from 1900, the year 1900, something like that. And they start dancing. And they look a little ghostly. I think that's a good way to describe them. But I could see them very, very clearly. My eyes were open. I'm watching this thing happening right in front of my eyes. And they're life size. They move in front of me. It's a man and a woman. There we go. Peanut, hey, shh. Anyway, they are in front of me, directly in front of me, but elevated from the ground, and they're dancing. And it's beautiful. They're doing the kind of a waltz type thing. They're dancing. And I'm watching them. And, I had been sick. So is this a hallucination? I don't think so. Anyway, I'm watching them, and it's like, oh, isn't that funny? Isn't that fun? And I'm watching them because they're dancing, and it's beautiful. And they're going round and round, and all of a sudden they stop, and the man reaches his hand out like, here, come with us. I'm like, oh no, thank you. This isn't fun anymore. The minute I said that, it's like, nope, we're done. They keep dancing, but they go around in circles. They go back into the level, wherever that is. It seals up, and they're gone. And then after that, I felt a little disturbed, and I had like weird visions that night and some weird dreams and like not so good spirits around me. I'm like, oh no. Anyway, that was that. Okay, after that, and I was sick. Again, I was sick, so who knows what that really was. After that, so many years later, this is when I'm living in New York City. And still things happened here and there, but I'm just like the more extraordinary experiences. I was in my psychic development class. This is my second class, the second class of a psychic development class. This guy was a spiritualist minister. I didn't even know what that was then. I didn't know. I thought it's just we're going to work on our psychic development. Yay, that sounds awesome. I love it. He it was a mediumship class. I just didn't know it. He didn't say it. He was a spiritualist minister. The second class was a full-on seance. So we're at this. So turn off the lights. Didn't have time to be scared. Well, I was a little scared, but he didn't tell us we're doing a seance next week. He does a little meditation. We do some relaxation breaths and this sort of thing, and he opens the circle, starts giving messages, and whoever can get messages gives messages. And this was a beginner class. So people are getting stuff. You could see like sparkly lights, and it was pretty dark in there, and there was about 35 people in there. This was more than halfway through the class, so maybe 3/4 of the way through the class. All of a sudden, I see this woman, this full on, my eyes are open. I see this woman who looks like a ghost, but a woman, full-size woman. She walks through the center of the room, because it was an oblong shaped room. She walks down the center. She stops in front of me, turns, walks towards me, puts her head in my lap, starts crying, and I start receiving messages about who this is for. And it was the woman who was sitting over here. And I'm like, oh, whoa, whoa. I've never had this happen before. I have never even thought about, I didn't give mediumship much thought at all. I just thought psychic, fun, yay. But I got clear messages for this other woman. It was her mother. So I'm like, I have a message, kind of shyly. And I gave the message, and the woman instantly knew it was her mother, and she started crying too. So anyway, so that was pretty extraordinary, because I had never had anything happen like that, where this woman walks directly over to me, puts her head in my lap, and starts crying. A ghost. It's like, whoa, okay. Well, this is really fun. I'm doing more of this because this is extraordinary. And yes, more please. This is pretty cool. Anyway, so it's 20 years later. I'm still doing this stuff because, I don't know, because it is exciting and interesting. So, all right, next story. Next story is same class. So might be about a year later after this other incidents. We're in level 3. Same group of people. You know, some might have left, but pretty much the same group of people. We moved through all the different levels, and people really were into it, and they stuck to it. So this class, we were meditating. And the whole class we were supposed to be meditating. This was not lights out, sit in meditation. We meditated a lot in that class because it was part of our development. So every once in a while, I would open my eyes and look around, and then just go back into meditation. And we did this quite often. So I saw some really interesting things doing this, where you're just sitting in a room with your eyes closed or open, meditating in a spirit circle, and things happen. It's really cool. I recommend sitting in circle. It helps if you're comfortable and not afraid, and working with some people that you're comfortable with too. So at some point in this class, I see this level open up. So we're in a dark room. I see this golden light, kind of golden yellow white light, kind of go, and this is over here, kind of not totally in front of me, but almost slightly to the left. I see this light go, like, start, and it goes all the way across, pretty wide, at least 10, I don't know, could have been 20 feet, 10, 15, I'm not sure. My eyes are open. I see this light go all the way across. This level opens up. Like, I see this level open up, and 5 beings walk out. Now, I painted this, and I have done videos about this before. This is what they look like. This is, to the best of my ability, I'm going to practice getting better at this, but they were oval shaped, a little more egg shape on the top. there was this golden yellow light that went through. I'm going to hold this in front of me so you can see it really clearly. This is what it looked like. It's oval with this kind of almost like a cross. One went like through the chest area of where they would be, and up through and down and off to the side beyond the oval shape. They, I'm gonna put this down. They're really tall. Now, when this first happened, I said they're about 15 feet tall. I don't know, but I think I was seeing into the astral realm. I don't think this was just seeing physically, seeing astrally. So I see a couple of them. There were two of them, I think, if I'm remembering right. Walk over to the other end of the room. One is behind this guy, and we're all sitting in chairs. One stands behind him, one stands in front of him. At some point, he completely disappears. They're gone, and his chair moves back several feet. Now, I was okay until I saw him being gone and his chair was actually moved back. So this is definitely in the astral realm. That's when I got a little freaked out when I saw that. Now, I don't really remember anything after that. So that's interesting. And I am sure they had to have known I was watching them. They're at a level of consciousness. They know I'm watching them. Next thing I remember is we're at the end of class and I go tell my teacher about this experience. He didn't know what to say. He has never seen anything like this before either. I did hear later that he was working with Merkaba vehicles, working with Drimola Melchizedek. He was working with a lot of that stuff. So maybe it had something to do with that. I don't know. And I have done I've done breath work, the Merkaba breath work, and and some regular breath work where some extraordinary things have happened. So maybe it has to do with doing that breath work will kind of ignite something. But I didn't start doing that work till many years later when I got here to Phoenix, and this was in New York. So who knows? And I never spoke to that guy. I think I was a little too freaked out, to be honest. It scared me. And so I never found out what he experienced in that class. And now I wish I would have, but I was too freaked out to discuss it with him. It's too late. It was some Russian guy who, him and his daughter were there. And they were both very, very psychic. They were really good psychics in the class doing this study. All right, the last experience I want to talk about today is, and I'm just putting these all into one video. Again, this was here in Phoenix. This is probably 12 years ago or so, roughly, something like that. I'm not sure. I was getting an energy healing session done. This was this guy, Keith. He did matrix energetics and I did matrix energetics, amazing energy healing system. And I'm really more like a kind of a wild, interesting, miraculous stuff happened when you were using it, energy healing system. Pretty amazing. Richard Bartlett, if you want to investigate him. Anyway, so I'm doing this session with Keith and it's in the middle of the day. It's probably 2 p.m. So no lights out, no ambient room with crystals, and just, in fact, at this point, I was sitting on the floor. Keith was over here, sitting on the couch. I was sitting on the floor. We're towards the end of the session, and his sessions lasted about 2 hours. Mine do too, sometimes. Anyway, so I'm sitting on the floor. And it was a very quiet moment, and he did not work like a traditional healer that you might think of, where you lay on a massage table and people are working around. It was very different than that. Sitting on the floor, very quiet moment, and my eyes are open and I look up and I start seeing all these beings come into the room. From this, just below the ceiling, these beings start walking into the room. Walking, well, really not walking. This is, I'm using common language. They're actually kind of floating into the room, and they're moving, and there's about 10 of them. Now, I'm not counting. I'm going, because that part of your brain is not working. It's just like, wow, okay, this is interesting. What's happening here? And you're just looking and absorbing and seeing what's happening. And they are light beings. They are 100% light. There are places in their energy body where some of these lights, it's almost like the center of the light is like, there's one here, there's one here, there's one here, probably where you might think of as the Hara line. And at those places, it's all light, and it's filaments of light coming off of it. And as the filament, and it's like big, and these beings are about 10 to 12 feet tall. The light is coming off, it's super bright, but as these filaments of light move, because they move, these light filaments move as they move. And as the light filaments kind of move, sparks of light come off of the light while they're moving, and it's different colors. So one was predominantly, there was a little more blue, but it's all white light, but it's all blue. There's pink, there's oranges, there's yellow. Peanut's right here, he wants some attention. Hi, Peanut. Hi. Yeah. Hi. Yeah, we're gonna have to take care of you soon. He wants the D word. I know, buddy. So as this is happening, I'm just watching. And I've painted a couple pictures. This picture is not completely done. That's why there's masking tape on here. But if you can see that clearly, let me see if it looks okay here. Let's see, go from top to bottom. Let's go back a little bit. This is what they look like. As far as, I can tell. This has a little bit more blue in it, but there are other colors because one of them had more blue in it. In fact, that was the second one. So this being, I'll hold it up just a little longer so you can see it. Yeah, this is what it looks like. They're about 10 to 12 feet tall. This being, one of them steps down around in front of me, so it's off to the side because I'm kind of looking over here. This one steps more in this direction. So I'm watching it. Steps in front of me, and we're communicating telepathically. And what I'm receiving, and he does feel more male. His energy feels more male. And so I'm going to say he says, do you want me to show you how to manifest? I'm like, yeah, please do. I don't know if I said it quite like that, but I'm like, yeah. And all of a sudden, I see these colors pop all around him, and they're bands or bars of light. They're about 3 feet long, these narrow bands of light, and they're all different colors. And they pop up all around him, 360 degrees, all around him. And he says, this is how you create or manifest. And he held his arm out, as much as they have arms. light being arms. And he does this, he goes, said, what do I want? And he does this like he's scanning for the probability of where is it? It's in my field. Those are my words. What do I want to create? Where is it in my field? Oh, it's right here. And he said, this is what I want. And he connects with it. And that's it. It's like, whoa, okay. So since then I've worked with the premise of this is how you create. It's in your field. Where is it in your field? How can I create this? Now at some point they all just went and went back up where they came from. Now recently I have a psychic development circle. We sit in the dark in a circle and we give messages. This is a practice circle, just to practice your psychic development. That's strictly what it's for, just practicing your messages, giving mediumship messages, spirit messages, connecting with the angels. Now, at this point, I am starting to think that these beings, I mean, I've went through many like, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. I think they're angelic beings. And so I've been studying more about angelic beings and who they are and what they are and how to connect with them and all this stuff. And so this is about 2 months ago or so. We're sitting in my development circle, and there was a smaller amount of people there. Usually it can be from like 10 people to 5. And after about 10 people, it's too much. I think we've had 11 people in there at the most. We should try 12. That's a magic number. Anyway, this had 5 people. And it was interesting because we were sitting in kind of a star shape. And there's one person in this class circle who has had connection with angels, has connection with the angels, and has had a serious awakening experience, and he's very connected to the angels. Anyway, we're doing a circle again, and this time this circle felt very angelic. I mean, there was some serious angelic energy in the room, and I saw, let's show this again. I saw this being again. Now this time when I saw him, this was through my psychic eyes, in my third eye. It was like, oh, I didn't see him physically appear. This was in my psychic vision. He was there in this room. Now, it's been a while since I've seen one of them show up. Now, I ask them to come in all the time when I do psychic work or healing work, any kind of spiritual work. I ask these beings to show up because I've had a direct experience with them. But this is the first time I've seen him show up, just him, in a room with us. And man, the energy in that room was off the charts. It was like, whoa, we all felt it. This is a very special circle that we're sitting in tonight, and there is angelic presence with us, and it was pretty incredible. So anyway, so as I said, I'm inclined to think that these are angelic beings, and I've seen them directly with my eyes open in front of me. Anyway, has it changed my life? I don't know. The thing is, when you do this kind of work, it strengthens, and you go through times when you feel doubt about what you're doing, but then you go through times where you're like, oh, wow, this is real. This is really happening, and it's powerful, and it's amazing. And you really, it goes in levels, but it also waxes and wanes. And so sometimes you feel really connected, and sometimes not as much. This is life. This is being human on earth. So you work on maintaining and strengthening that connection with spirit so that you can do this work. It's pretty remarkable. Anyway, what do you think about all that? Has anyone else seen any of what these beings look like or want to share any of your experiences? Please do so. Anyway, I think that's about it for now. I got to feed these animals here. Peanut's sitting on my lap. He's being pretty good right now. Anyway, I do readings, I do mediumship, I do psychic work, I do energy healing, both remote and in person. So you can let me know if you would like that. I would love it. Anyway, that's it. Just sharing. Have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned and stay connected. Bye, everyone.